Charles Irvin, how are you today, sir?
It's been a very adventurous day, man. It's Friday, rolling into a very busy weekend, and we've been on the move, literally.
In more ways than one. And speaking of that, we'll hold off a little bit. We're going to be talking about that actually. Just j- since you put it out there, we'll talk about the move in just a second. But we have been very busy, and today in particular. So looking forward to jumping in and talking about that. Um, just making sure we live, checking a couple things, and allowing people to join us.
So, how is your day going, sir?
It's been going well. Busy, but that's a good thing. I like to be busy, helping people, doing what we do.
Well,
And now I just need to help myself to the gym and get some of this Thanksgiving weight off.
certainly the wait is over. It's all business and credit on a Friday afternoon, and as you said, we have literally been on the move. As you can see, the office is a little bit brighter. It's pretty much empty. So I'm doing the show from uh, the new old office.
Well, the new old office. Let's talk about that a little bit. We're talking about the new office, old office, all of that coming together. So let's let the listeners in on what this move is about and what it means and exactly what do we mean when we actually say this, that we have a new home, right? What does that really mean?
Well,
So I'll let you take that away.
as you know, one of my favorite sayings when I talk to any prospective client is, "How can I help?" And I think we have adopted that as one of our mantras. How can we help you? How can we solve your issue? Because people, believe it or not, people come to attorneys when they have issues that need to be solved and stories that need to be told. And so that's where we come in. And we've been working diligently to put ourselves in the best position to help our clients. And so a part of that is the actual physical layout of the office. And so we've been talking for about 9 months about where we would be and what our permanent location would be. Um, and it took about that long to find a space. And so I'm happy to say that we'll be at 460 Briarwood Drive in Suite 310. And so that gives us the space to be able to serve our clients in the best way possible. It's a warm and inviting space. It's still a little bit under construction. We moved a lot of furniture in today, but our clients have needs on a daily basis. So even while we were moving furniture, we were still working.
Absolutely. I think the staff and the team will be resting well tonight.
Oh, I believe me. I believe they will. They got up and they started really early uh, this morning. We've been packing for about 2 weeks, and even though we started 2 years ago in a very small space, it's amazing how many files and how much the legal books and furniture that we had accumulated. And so getting all of that organized and sorted out so that we could move over into the new space. We're easily accessible off of I-55 North in Jackson, Mississippi, and I-220. We're about 10 minutes from downtown, about 5 minutes from County Line Road. So ideally situated for clients to get in and out and see us.
Well, you know what? I mean, it's fabulous. But as we talk about, everything we do is an effort to better serve our customers and our clients and all that they do. And our whole service philosophy is built around that question, how can I help you? And what we know at Urban Law, that could be in many different ways in the course of a day. Sometimes it's just listening. Sometimes It may be evaluating a business opportunity. Sometimes it may be um, making a tragedy as the transition of tragedy as easy as possible, because tragedy is not easy. It may be um, just stepping in to give some sage advice. So it could be solving a credit situation. It could be contracts and negotiations. So really, that's why we frame that question, and that's because we start every conversation with every potential client, every client with, "How can I help you?"
That's right. I
And
mean, it's simple, but it's powerful because how can I help you then helps us build and educate the story needed to reach results for each client. And so, what do individuals have in common? We're all human. So, no matter the circumstance, whether it's aspirations for a new business, trying to get your credit in shape to buy a new home for your family, or it could be transformation coming out of an injury or death. All of those are stories that have to be told. And as those stories are told, uh, you want to put yourself in a position to have a great storyteller. And I always tell people as I go around the state of Mississippi that I'm just an old country lawyer. I've been doing this for 20 years. But what that really means is I take the time to shape and mold the stories of our clients into winning solutions.
mhm.
And I can't do that on my own. We have a fabulous team that works with me uh, day and night to make sure that we are, and I apologize for that. As you can see, we're still in the process of moving. So,
Right.
but we work night and day to make sure that those issues are the story is told in the best light, and we can get results. And so, as you know, because you know what I do on a daily basis, last night at 1 a.m., client has an issue, and we're trying to make sure that they get the answers that they need at 1 a.m. because that's when it was most important to them. Um, if you need us, you can call us 24 hours a day, 365 days out of the year. And each time it's going to be the same thing. How can we help?
Exactly. And I think, when I think about how can we help, and I have to attribute it to growing up in my beloved hometown of Columbia, and just the values of service. And so the philosophy we have, if we're always working from a standpoint of how we can help you, then we'll always be helped. And so we have to satisfy outward first, and not inward first. And that's our approach. And really, for us, it's a joy and it's a pleasure to actually work and serve and to help you, because we realize when people come to us, if they could have fixed it, they would have done it already. So when they come to us, it's a challenge. It's an issue that's usually bigger than what they can see. And so we take a lot of pride in the fact that they entrust us to do that and to work with them through a multitude of situations, however multifaceted they are. I tease you, we have been, just really traveling and having busy times with depositions and business cases and analysis through the political season, and learning ourselves. Let's talk a little bit about the continued education that you and I continue to put ourselves through to make sure that we're always the best for our customers. Because I think it's important for everybody to know that you have to continue to pour in yourself each and every day, and to make sure that you are better able and better equipped to serve people when they call.
Oh, no doubt. I think, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being on the cutting edge of technology. And this is the perfect time to share, we went to Atlanta to the Game Changers Summit. And why did we do that? Well, we wanted to surround ourselves with people that are trying to build practices that are client centered, client focused, and find the best way to get results for our clients. And so you're right. continued education, continuously seeking to get better, even if it's incremental, but every day seeking to be better so that way our clients are better served. And, you know, we always say once you become an Urban Law client, you become part of the family. And I think we owe it to our existing clients and clients who will be coming in the future to always be on the cutting edge of legal frameworks, technology, case management solutions, all the things that can affect their lives and how we tell their story. And so that's what it means when we say continuous improvement, continuous education, because we want to put the best product out there so that our clients are best served.
You know what? Speaking of that, in lieu of that, and one of the things we're going to do, we'll come to you every Friday, same time, and we'll talk to you and bring issues. But we also I always love to give, and I know Charles does too. We love to kind of give some information, good quality information that can enhance your life. And so, one of the things we'll do in the last few minutes of each session is that we will actually give some tips on a subject matter. And so, for today, we're just kind of talking about the move and some of the changes and things we have. Uh, with this move is also, we're proud to announce some new services that we're now providing to assist our many clients. One of those new services is in the line of business credit consulting, which is my specialty is in consumer credit, but we have a whole team that specializes in business credit and that walks you through. When I finish with individuals that need consumer help to get their consumer credit in top shape, then they're passed over there and they work on business credit if they have a business to really establish credit in the name of their business so that the two eventually will be separated and the credit or the business entity itself is sufficient and solvent enough to obtain its own credit and really help that company grow and scale. And so we're really excited about that new service and really what it means for small businesses. And trust me, we know the ups and downs of that because we are a small business. So we're always looking for solutions that help us and trying to share those solutions out with other people that face the same challenges we do.
Well, I think you are spot on, sir. I mean, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is catering to small and mid-sized businesses. What is the biggest barrier to success of businesses? Operating capital. What causes them not to be able to get operating capital is they have not developed their profile, they have not spent the time, or they just simply do not know how to go about seeking funding solutions from traditional sources or non-traditional sources. And so that's where we come in as we bridge the gap, we educate our clients because we want them to be in the best situation to buck tradition. Statistics say most businesses fail, and we know that to be true. So we want to put them in a position where not only do they they succeed and build for the community, themselves, their families, and the services that they provide are available. And so the best way for us to do that is to work through the business credit suite and educate them and help them build their credit profile so that they have the funds they need to operate.
Yeah, and that's important. I mean, the reality is, even I think from the beginning, I mean, as a business owner, there was so many things we just didn't know. Especially if I think early on in our 20s and 30s, we just didn't know, and nobody taught us. And a lot of this information is not really readily available. But to have somebody, in addition to somebody showing you and teaching you, to have somebody walk you through the process that you can call, that's going to follow up with you, and having the tools and systems in place that make everything you need available in a nice little portal with technology and somebody to guide you and tell you exactly what to do and make sure you're doing it correctly to get you to your goal. It is just help that really is amazing to have. And so I'm glad we have the opportunity to offer that. In addition to that, once you build the business credit, then we have that team can then also pass you out to a different team of people that can specialize in business financing and getting you credit for your business to help you expand or scale, depending on what your needs are. So, really, for us, when Charles speaks to really being the epicenter to help small businesses grow, the reason why we have such a passion for that is because we are in that same epicenter that you are. We are a small business and we know the challenges, and we want to make sure we can eliminate as many of those as possible to help everybody, not just ourselves. So, in thinking about that, I was just thinking about one of the services we provide, Charles. I got to commend you on because when you think of a small business, and I mean, literally, we get businesses that just opened yesterday. I mean, no
That's right.
budget, no budget. We're not talking little budget. We're saying no budget. And affording an attorney that seems like a big task for me, Charles. So, how does a company that's just starting afford the services of Urban Law? Because I mean, my friend, you're not cheap.
Well, that's a great question, Leslie. You know, I spend a lot of time worrying about clients and their ability to afford access to quality legal services. And so, what we've done is gear our payment platform towards accommodating their budgets. We help them get it from paper to an actual working business. And we do that by providing multiple payment options. And so I think that's a small thing, but it's huge because people shy away from getting the help that they need. And you know, I'm always teasing you about the number of trained Google lawyers that are loose on the world. So we want to make sure that we do it the right way and that they're compliant with federal, state, and local law. And so we do that by providing flexible payment options. What we offer that I think is good for small businesses that may be in the first 5 years or so is general counsel agreements where we work with them to build a 12-month budget instead of a lump sum payment. And I think that takes a burden away from them to know that they have quality representation, but they also have a structure in which they can pay for it over time. And so, you fuss at me daily about making sure that we have what we need to keep the lights on. But at the same time, we want to be able to provide to our clients and to the community top-notch legal service at affordable rates. And, not every rate is the same. It depends on what the need is. But we do have the options available so that we can reach out and help.
So speaking of that, let's talk specifics here. So let me give you a hypothetical or an example, and then I want you to walk me through how we would craft a plan that not only would work with them, but that your business partner, that guy named Leslie, won't blow a gasket about. So
Okay.
So here's a scenario: new business startup, 6 months in business. You ask them if they have a budget; they don't even know what that is, but they can afford to spend about $250 a month to get a multitude of things done, to have somebody review contracts, to do kind of whatever they need, especially as they're starting a new business. How do you work with that when we already know that your hourly rate is more than what they have? So there's a scenario. That's a tough one. Tell me how you work with that client.
Well, you're correct. My hourly rate runs a little bit higher than 250, but for aspiring small businesses. So let's say right now we have one viewer who has a dance business, Zumba. And so if she needed general counsel to help her be in compliance and grow her business, what we would look at is what can we do and how can we structure payments over a 12-month period. And so if we structure it over a 12-month period, we can probably hit that benchmark of $250 a month, which then becomes extremely affordable. And we're able to not look over their shoulders, but be able to grab them by the hand and help them execute. We want to set up benchmarks. We want to help them with their compliance issues. We want to help them consider everything from succession planning, meaning what happens if something happens to me, how does my business sustain itself, to just the day-to-day HR issues. We deal with a lot of issues. People ask us questions all the time. What do we do if this happens and it's not in my employee handbook? Well, that's the stuff that we stay up at night and we contemplate, and we want to make sure that the policies and procedures are in place, whether it be vacation policy or, interpreting at will employee status in Mississippi, knowing how to do those things, because there is a time when you're going to hire someone, and there's a time when you're going to have to possibly let someone go, and you want to make sure you're in compliance in each one of those instances. And so by structuring it over a 12-month period, it gives us the flexibility to do what we need to do.
Well, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. But I can do that. So I can see where a small business could say, put aside $250, it's structured over 12 months. And that way, if they need a contract negotiated, that can be done. If they need something drafted, if they need somebody to walk them through getting a corporation set up, all that is included in a fee that they can afford. So for all small business, or if you know anybody with small businesses, trust me, before they get themselves in some trouble or deal with things, have them call Urban Law. And what I always say is, when you call, we answer. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, somebody is going to pick up that phone and ask the question, how can we help you? So I was just looking, we have a couple of our classmates that's joined us today, Charles. I see the Lessa is in the house, and Tina, Valerie is in the house as well. So thank you guys for joining. And we will be here every week, same bat time, same bat channel.
That's right. I know
every Friday.
Val said I was asleep because I took off my glasses, but I'm listening to everything. Not much gets past me. I'm team no sleep. So I want to make sure that I give her a shout out. McDuffie is on. I see a lot of people that we know and love and treasure. Everybody. We appreciate you coming and listening to what we have to say. And what I would ask you to do is spread the word. Bring 1 or 2 people back with you. I know it's been a while since we've been on a regular basis, but we wanted to take a break to retool some stuff in our shop and make sure we were coming back with cutting edge programs and being able to not just be the typical stuffy law firm. We like to have fun, we work hard, and we want to provide services to people in a new and exciting way. We use technology a lot throughout the practice, whether it's our case management software where our clients have a portal where they can add and look at their files. Same portal for payments. I mean, we try to use a multitude of ways to take care of our clients. And sometimes it's just good old fashioned get in the car and go across the state. We service all 82 counties, and I spend probably 3.5, 4 days a week on the road. And that's because I love what I do. I enjoy it. So it's not a bother at all. I want to be out there helping the clients reach their full potential.
It's interesting that you say that, because not only do we serve all 82 counties in Mississippi, but we're multifaceted in our approach. But in some of our services, like in our business division, we serve customers all across the country and all 50 states. Our core areas that we focus is Mississippi, Louisiana, Tennessee, and Texas. But business customers, we have them all over the place. And so we are, we use technology all the time. For instance, I'm in Texas most of the time. You're in Mississippi. Sometimes we flip flop. I think a couple of weeks ago, I was actually in Mississippi and you were in Texas. But technology allows us to meet our clients wherever they are. And so if that's getting on a call and talking through something with you at 1 a.m, we've done that before. Right. And so I think in a new day where most information is on a person's 4x3 screen, their smartphone, we have to be able to adapt to that, be accessible. And you don't know when you're going to have a problem, and you certainly can't schedule it between 8 and 5. So if the problem happens at 7, if the problem happens at 8, you need to be able to call and know there'll be somebody that's going to answer. And that's why we work so hard to be flexible and create systems that allow that to happen.
That's right. We do video conferences on a routine basis. So if you actually need to eyeball us and feel more comfortable that way, or if you need to see us in person, we will accommodate the client's needs. And so, you know, I enjoy what I do. You know, I love what I do. And so it's a pleasure for me to be able to meet the client where they are. And then at the end of the service, have them say, well, you're my lawyer for life. That's my goal. Every time I meet with a prospective client, that's what I have in mind. And I feel like in this day and age, in 2018, where technology is a part of everything that we do, social media wise, uh, Google advertising, people have options. And I always tell prospective clients, explore your options. My hope and my thought process believes that once you explore, you're going to come back to Urban Law and hire us just because of the way we do things, the way we treat people. And that's all we can ask for. We treat everybody like family because that's the way we were raised. And hey, it's a great day. We're in the new office. Got a little bit more to do to get it shined up, but we're there. And it's there for clients, and we're happy to serve.
Speaking of that, and I did ask if there was any questions, guys. So if you have any questions for us as we get ready to wrap up here, please type them in, and we'll do our best to answer them. Charles, I always like to give back and say, what would be, just a legal common issue that we run across that we can give some tips and speak to. And I'll let you kick it off in this series and this season with the first one, and I'll grab it next week. But just in any concept of the legal aspect of what we do, what is a tip you can give to our audience that they can share and pass along that can really help them?
I'm feeling generous. I can think of several things that I see, especially in our rural communities. People are not really ready with their health directives. They're not really ready with their wills. And so their families are left to take care of those things once they've passed on. And so you want to make sure that you're thinking about readiness. And, we deal with small businesses a lot. And so one of the things that I want to do is tell people right now, when we're working on your small business issues, ask questions about how you can leave things nice and tidy and in the best light for your family to carry on, because we all have an expiration date. And so we want to make sure that our affairs are in order. And so, preparing wills, it may seem like something that you can get to later, but you want to make sure that you're doing it because nobody knows when that bell is going to ring for them. So that's one big one that I'll give right now, and it's something that we'll be happy to help you with anytime you wish.
And the other thing about it's more affordable than most people think. Most people think that every service a law firm provides is just super costly, and that's just not the case. So give an example of a common, simple will, a range of what that might cost on the basic end to the most complex, because I think most people just honestly don't know.
Well, that's why I picked that as something to talk about, is because I think that's an entry point that's accessible for a couple nights out. You're talking about $300 for simple property division, those type things, to make sure that your family is situated. And if it's really complex, you're talking maybe upwards of $850 to $1,000. So really, most people are going to fall in the $300, $350 range.
So, just like that. So what you're telling me is it's cheaper to get a will in place than it is to buy a cell phone.
Oh, no doubt. If you want a 10 from iPhone, you're talking about $1,000 right out the gate. If you want a Samsung Galaxy, you're talking about $1,000 out of the gate. and that's something that has a shelf life of a year. So we're talking about something that's gonna serve you and your family well, because you want those assets to be protected. You want your family to be in a situation where they're not stressed any more than they have to be. And so I think that's a great place to start. And it's something that, as we help people build their credits, we also, we want to help them not only build personal credit and business credit. We want them to be thinking about the best way to put their families on solid foundations and readiness, whether it's health directives or wills, contemplating power of attorneys if need be for a family member that needs it. All of those things to me are pocketbook issues, because if someone were to pass and not have a will, then you're talking about upwards of $4,500 to go into court and straighten it out. So the cost benefit analysis on that speaks for itself.
And that's exactly what I wanted you to hit, because often as I'm doing an intake or I'm talking with a prospective client, the question when they say, well, can I afford to do the will? And the question I always ask them back, can you afford not to?
That's right.
And I said, here's what I mean by that. So talk through, before we wrap up, talk through what happens if you don't have a will, okay? And now it gets turned over to the state. So you don't have a will. It's not outlined who gets what. You have a family with 2 kids, 2 siblings. You don't have a spouse. What happens in a situation where you don't have a will? And how much does that end up costing you to try to get it resolved?
Well, like I said, you're going to end up in court. And when I say that, that's a general terminology. In Mississippi, that's a chancery court matter of equity. And so you're talking about probating an intestate estate, meaning that the person died without a will. Before you can do anything with the property, the judge is going to have to sign off on what can be done, how it can be done, and when it can be done. And so had you taken the time to prepare a will, all of that stuff would be contemplated. You would still need to file it in court, but it wouldn't cost as much and it wouldn't be as timely. And the wishes of the person who is passed would be taken into account, because that's the whole purpose of a will, is to lay out your last will and testament, meaning that who gets the property, who gets the dishes, who gets the prize bulldog, all of those things, whatever they may be. Any property, especially with real property. And what you see in our community a great deal is that property gets lost because no one is able to do anything with it because there's no clear title.
Right.
And so, we had clients in North Mississippi, close to Tennessee, and they have heir property, and there are about 67 heirs at this point. And so to try and work through that and come to a resolution that doesn't become the Hatfields versus the McCoys, it's difficult. And that means tensions flare within the family, and that's something that could have been avoided. And so, we're always trying to educate our clients and our listeners on practical steps to take. And I think that is a very practical step that every family should take.
You know what? I couldn't have said it better. And I think the reality is the biggest difference is, the biggest difference in what I heard you say is, if it goes to court, a judge is now going to decide how the wishes are carried out. It's going to be the judge's wishes that are going to be carried out, as opposed to it being your own wishes that are carried out. And so it's cheaper to have your own wishes carried out than to have the court and the judge have their wishes carried out. So please talk to your family members, reach out, share this, make sure they call us. They can get those things done very quickly at a very small price. And it just makes no sense. It really breaks my heart to see people don't have it and what they have to go through to just do basic stuff. And that is heartbreaking, because it can be solved or resolved at a minimal cost. And a lot of people just don't realize that. So please share that and pass that good information along. Look, that's our time for this week. We'll be back every Friday, 4:30. And Also this week, what I'm going to challenge you all to do is make sure you like our Facebook page, send it out, encourage people to like our Facebook page. I'm also going to be adding to our Facebook page where you can sign up for our newsletter and for coupons and discounts and specials and giveaways we do from time to time. So look out for that. That'll be coming real soon. So just stay tuned to our Facebook page. It'll pop up there, and make sure you sign up so you can get all the communication. Who knows? Sometimes we're generous and we give away stuff. Sometimes we give away cups, and sometimes we give away shirts, and sometimes we just give away stuff. So
The swag.
don't get left out.
Yeah, urban law swag. Everybody needs some.
That's what I say. I'm sporting mine right now.
Yeah, I had some on earlier, but I ran in after we finished moving and put some on for the show. And so I thank you for the people who tuned in. Bring somebody back with you next week. As always, check out our website. We got some changes coming there soon, really, really soon. And we're always striving to make sure that we serve you in the best way possible. How can we help? Let us help you. Urban Law.
You call, we answer. See you next Friday.